Hi all, welcome to today's edition of the Jenkins X office hours. Today we'll be speaking with Adam about his work with build packs and the improvements that are being done there. We'll also talk about some of the initiatives we have going in the community around supporting Kubernetes 1.16, starting a docsig, and you all are welcome to become involved. Meetings are on Mondays at 14:30 UTC. And also Jenkins X is involved in Season of Docs this year. So the application period is open for that. We have a blog post on Season of Docs. Please look under our blog section of our website. But we would like to, answer your questions on that, help you build out your proposals for that that initiative. And now we'll speak with Adam.
Gives me hi everyone. I'll be talking about a slight change that's been made to build packs. So JX Edit Build Pack is a functionality that used to work in Jenkins X before we upgraded to Boot, before we released the latest version of Boot. So there are two issues when JX Edit Build Pack just users mentioned that it's no longer working for them. After digging into those issues, I discovered that JX Edit Build Pack allows, the way it works is it would edit the team settings in the environment CRD, but since Boot, whenever the Boot pipeline ran, we would override the team settings with whatever was specified in JX Boot resources Helm chart. The way we apply it would kind of override the team settings with default values, and the default values are specified here. So these are the build pack values that would always be used, and this is like what users were saying. So what I've now done is in our requirements file, I've added the ability to edit these default values. So what you can now do is you can specify a name, Git URL, and Git reference in here, and then what will happen is the next step is in the Helm chart to kind of add some conditional logic to kind of say, hey, if the values have been specified by the user in the requirements file, then use them. Otherwise, forward back to the default values. And I think, no, not in here. It'll be done in here, I believe. Yeah, this is where the conditional logic will live. But yeah, that's it. Like, I don't know if there's anything else I want to say about it, because, it's basically one of the one of the side effects of Boot that we didn't take into consideration. And Edit Build Pack's not a functionality that's been used a lot. Also, there's another thing, the documentation needs updating. Is kind of very misleading at the moment for editing build packs. It's just non-existent and very confusing. So I'll also be updating the documentation. I'm not sure if there's much else I can say about this. Any questions? No? Okay. But yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'll be merging the PR today.
That's awesome. Thank you, Adam. That is really great. Thanks for showing your work on the build packs, making it better for everyone. And thank you all for being here at the office hours today. Good. We have a question that's come through from the community, which I'm hoping that Gareth, before you have to jump off to another meeting, do you want to answer the question that's on our docs for the meeting docs for this that Oscar's raised? Is JX create project going to replace the commands it is a wrapper for, such as JX create quick start and others?
That is a good question, and I'm not entirely certain on the answer for that. I know that some of the deprecated commands we're looking at trying to provide sort of alternatives for, or like re-alias them to the sort of correct thing. In terms of that the create project and the create quick start, I think create quick start is the one that we were going for. I don't know if Dave is able to answer that a little bit better, actually, around deprecation. I was hoping Dean was going to be on, because I know he had a bit of a handle all of the deprecated commands and everything else. So.
Yeah, so I think what we were looking at doing is standardizing on the word project as the default thing that somebody would create. I think the internals would be very, very similar to how it actually works, but I think it's more a standardization on just the terminology that gets used. So I think the answer to that is yes, but I need to double check.
I do know that create, spring, and a few other commands are definitely in our list of commands to be deprecated, and they are being, according to the deprecation docs that we have, the replacement will be create project. I've sent a link.
Great, thank you. That's pretty clear. Following on from Adam's comment on docs and docs improvements and needing to make docs improvements, we actually are doing a big push with Jenkins X to improve the documentation. We have had feedback that it could be improved, and we've taken that on board, and there's a huge amount of effort happening in that space, to the point where we have created a doc sig, which is open to everyone. So anyone who would like to be involved or who would just like to attend the meeting, the meetings are available on our events calendar. So if you Google Jenkins X calendar, it will actually come up, and you can download the meeting information from there. You can also read about the SIG on its repo, which is in the Jenkins X org under the community repo, and then it will be docsig. And we have our meeting notes there. It's all as much as possible in public and open to anyone to attend. The meetings are now, because there's a lot of activity, the meetings are once a week, and they are on Mondays, UTC, it's quite late, UTC 14:30, I think. But the calendar definitely has the information. And we will likely be creating an APAC-friendly meeting time for that. It's very hard to bridge time zones all around the world. There's a very, very narrow window, and it's pretty much inconvenient for half the people, either very early in the morning or late at night. So there is actually an issue on that sake. So if you are interested in attending, but you live somewhere where that time is not convenient for you, please jump on that issue, because we do want to involve as many people as possible. And following on from docs, we are participating in Google Season of Docs this year, so it's very exciting. We have a blog post in our blog. If you just look for Season of Docs, there's a whole post on potential projects to work on, how to get involved, the timeline for applications, what the program is about. It will run, the actual program runs for 3 months in the fall, but the application period is starting now and ends very shortly, in about a month and a half. So you're getting involved with the Jenkins X community now. You're finding out about projects that interest you, docs projects that interest you, and then as a potential applicant, you make that application to Google Season of Docs. So we'd love to have more people involved in helping us with our docs in one of these initiatives, either the SIG or just making PRs or applying for Season of Docs to work with us for 3 months. And also, another call out for contributors. We have a sort of a discovery spike happening around supporting Kubernetes 1.16. And in our meeting note docs for this meeting, which are linked to on the events calendar invite, the link for that issue. We also have had a number of really great community contributors in the past number of weeks, including our new Google Summer of Code student. So thank you very much, Suan, and everyone who has contributed quite a lot in the last month or so. So we're really happy to see the interest and enthusiasm around contributing, so thank you very much. And are there any more announcements that anyone would like to make on the call, or demos, or talking about features, or even asking questions? Like, all questions are good. You can jump in with whatever you like.
I was going to briefly ask about that Kubernetes 1.16 issue.
Yeah.
Did I hear you say that discovery is planned, or is it in a calendar somewhere?
The issue for that discovery is in the docs for this meeting. Actually, I'll share.
I think I know the issue that you're talking about. I think I've commented on that one.
Okay, so I'm showing this is the docs for that we have. It's linked to in the calendar invite, but this should take us to that issue. We can have a look at it. So it's a discovery spike around supporting Kubernetes 1.16, and there's quite a bit of conversation on it. Ankit is on here.
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you want to talk about this then?
I mean, I don't know what to talk about it, but yes, like what's the plan for the upgrade and all those things mostly. If you scroll down, I actually commented today about the fact that, I mean, basically, should we support say 1.9 or 1.10 and all those things? I think it should be no. So I think it should be basically what the cloud providers have. That way, it is a bit like it's a bit simpler for us. And also there should be like a check when say you do like a JX boot, it should actually check for the version, and if it's not in the list, then it should not, then there should be like a message which says that you should not use this version, or JX just does not support it, something like that. It talks about everything. I think I wrote everything there, what I thought. So
yeah, that's very good. Actually, you've been pinged on this, Gareth.
Yeah, I put the comment on just above that here around similar sorts of things, and whether or not we would go as far forward as building in support for. I don't know what Kubernetes versions we're going for, because obviously the cloud providers won't support up to 1.18 for a little while. I wouldn't have thought. I think as recent you can go at the moment is 1.16, but we know that we do have issues with people trying to install on things like Minikube that will be 1.18, or vanilla Kubernetes clusters that are of that version.
Yeah, but the reality is actually, lately I spoke with the major providers, and they all have plans to support always the second latest version, stable version of Kubernetes. AKS is already on 1.17, while the latest is 18, and AWS is committed in public before the end of the year to always be on the second latest, which sounds like a reasonable figure, right? You're working on the latest while Kubernetes is working on a new one, and then by the time Kubernetes releases the new one, you are on the one before that. So if you're motivated by cloud providers, that would be the second latest.
So that's the higher level that they're supporting, but they don't just offer 1.17 or 1.16. Like GKE, for instance, you have different release channels that you can subscribe to. And I think now that is 1.14 to 1.16. Yeah,
GKE happens to be the slowest, but AWS is committed in public, and AKS is on 17.
EKS is on 16, right? So
yeah.
So it's 1.14 to 1.16 for EKS. So
that's all true. I'm just saying that Amazon, for example, AWS committed in public that strategy is going to change with them very, very soon. I think that in summer we're going to see them being closer to the latest, and second latest, whatever that is.
But they're not only supporting 1.16. They're supporting slightly older versions as well.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that they committed that's going to change very, very soon.
So 1.13 on EKS is listed for deprecation on the 30th of June. So I'm guessing if they're going to be kind of going with one behind Kubernetes release cadence, like they'll be speeding that up quite quickly. I think we need to get better at making these upgrades faster in general. It's something we haven't really done for a while.
It should be in the docs also, right? Like what versions of Kubernetes we support. I actually opened an issue on that. So
I do like the idea of warning people up front if the version is something that isn't supported. I don't know if it should necessarily fail fast, but it should at least prompt people to, you know, do you want to continue or something?
Right.
Yeah, I think the warnings and also better documentation. It would be great if we had that in our docs, just clearly visible what we're supporting, what versions we're supporting. That would be very good. Good. Anke, would you like to say anything more about this initiative or where you would like to see it headed, or some of the PRs you've made? Because actually you've really, I've seen a number of your PRs on the repo, so thank you.
Oh, thank you. I don't know what to say again, but yeah, I mean, probably think about like how are we going to support 1.16, 1.17, 1.18. Probably also take a look at 1.18 docs and see, or like maybe 1.19 if it comes in like, I don't know, 3-4 months time, like what gets removed so that once 1.19 comes, it becomes simpler to move given the issues we had with 1.16 lately. So that would be something. And yeah, what else? I don't know. But yeah, that's it. So.
That's great. Thank you for being involved on the issue, and it is open. It's welcome for anyone to jump in and
yeah. Also, I wanted to ask about the GitLab support. Like, is it something? I mean, I see that something.
Sorry. It is something. GitLab support in Lighthouse is what I'm calling preview now, which is a more conservative preview than it was before, as in it actually works now, and passes BDD tests running against each Lighthouse PR, etc. I am sure there are still issues that I have not seen because I'm not using it in production. Once we've gone a couple months, we'll switch to stop calling it preview and just say, yep, GitLab support is first-class citizen, just as supported as everything else. The only reason I want to call it preview for now is because unless I'm actually using it in production myself, I don't feel hugely comfortable saying, well, it passes all my tests, and saying that's good enough. So yes, if you're using GitLab, you can use that. You can use Lighthouse with it. If you hit issues, please open bugs, and I will respond to them very quickly. We also have, as of yesterday, as of last night, an extremely gimpy but functional preview of Bitbucket Server. It does want you to have Bitbucket Server 7.0 or later. It has to work in a bit of a weird way because Bitbucket Server does not have labels, so it has to do comments weird, and the comment formatting is ugly. But that I expect will be longer before it gets out of preview. GitLab, I think it just needs users to be using it and to find any issues that I have not already found, so I can fix them for them.
I can use it. It's fine.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's it. I actually saw all the PRs you made for
So many
a big
PRs.
bucket, and those were nice, like with like all the tests and everything. So I'll probably add some to GitHub. There was actually an issue that I opened and I was working on it. So I have to add tests.
Cool.
But yes, the DocSig is happening. It's every Monday, 14:30 UTC. It's in the calendar. If you are at all interested in helping with docs or you would like to find out what we're up to, please join. Also consider applying for a season of docs and keep making the good PRs. Ask us questions. We're in the Slack channels, and come again to office hours in 2 weeks' time. And add any topics that you would like to the doc for office hours, because it's nice having to be able to answer questions in this format as well. Great. Thank you all very much. And thank you, Adam, for telling us about your work with build packs. And I will see you all in 2 weeks at the office hours.